Hi, everybody. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us here on our Pirelli World Challenge Global Webcast, as we are about to bring you the first of two races, round 14, for the Pirelli World Challenge GT divisions. Actually, for GT and GTA, it's round 13 for the GT Cup category that is about to set sail. I'm Greg Kramer, joined by Calvin Fish. Cal, a winner here in the Pro Atlantic Championship in 1987. And it's great to have you with us. Before we get into anything specifically, I want to remind everybody once again that here on the web feed, you're going to be sort of eavesdropping as we're building our CBS Sports Network show. So if we have to lay out for a minute or pause or even repeat things on occasion, we hope you understand. But you're sort of getting the inside view, if you will, on how this show comes together. But Cal, as we're looking at this field just a few moments away from the command to get this one underway, you look, the front row speaks volumes right there, but also the depth of the field and the quality of the drivers and the equipment. It is spectacular.
It really is, and I think qualifying we certainly saw a few surprises. Austin Cindric, I mean, he's got great history here with his family owning the circuit for many years. His grandparents, of course, the Truman family. But I think the biggest shock is really seeing Pat Long all the way back towards the tail end of the GT field. Yeah. Second in points right now, so he's got a lot of work to do sitting back there in the 13th position.
Well, particularly when you look at what's happened here in the last 2 years that the series has been coming here, it's been a Porsche that swept both weekends. And now to have this happen, it's a very different car. It's a whole different platform. I mean, there's lots of differences, and obviously they're struggling with that just a little bit. The other great story is, you look fourth on the grid, the Red Dragon is back.
Yeah, 3 McLarens in the top 2 rows, so it's great to see John Fogarty. It's been a frustrating season for them. Started off the year so well with the podium run at COTA, and since that time they had the incident at Long Beach in practice where there's a major wreck, didn't get to see the action that weekend, and just really haven't found the sweet spot with that McLaren. They've been doing some testing, not since the last round at Road America, so they're gradually clawing their way back into the game. And that team, and even the team owner himself, Bob Stallings, has had success here at Mid-Ohio, so it's been a happy hunting ground for that team. Good to see that group back towards the sharp end where they belong.
At where they belong. That's exactly the key. All right, folks, you're about to have the command unfold here, so we're going to pause. When we come back, we'll be starting to build our CBS Sports Network package. Hang tight. And there you have it. You can see the signals to the teams as well. It is time to bring this field to life. And again, a remarkable field of some of the most exotic supercar equipment you can imagine. And we are about ready to go racing here for 50 minutes of competition. And look at that, the Cadillac ATS-V, Don Harple, giving us a little bit of a burnout. He always saves the best for later in the weekend, but what a great machine this is, and it's all courtesy of a fabulous partner in Cadillac. So we thank them very much. But Cal, as the field is about to wheel its way out, we heard some of the updates that Jeff was telling us about, some pretty spectacular stuff, but how about Austin Cindric on the pole? He had that great interview with him, but what a story.
What a story. I mean, so much family history here with the Truman family, his grandparents owning the circuit for many years. Austin loves the race circuit, but to pip the factory teammate in Alvaro Parent to that pole position, that was a great run for him. Congratulations. See if he can withstand the pressure. This is going to be a tough one to pull off.
Yeah, and in this field right now, I mean, the top 10 in qualifying covered essentially by half a second. I mean, it doesn't get a whole lot closer than that. And that fourth car on the grid, big story there, the Red Dragon, they're truly back.
3 McLarens on the top 2 row of the grid, and certainly for the Red Dragon, the Gainesville entry, they've struggled this year. Had that podium at COTA in the opening round of the championship, opening event of the championship. Had the crash at Long Beach, struggled since. Great to see them back at the sharp end where they truly belong.
And there's a look at the other part of the program from Cadillac, the official safety vehicle, the great Cadillac Escalade, with our safety team on board. So again, a big thanks to the folks at Cadillac. As the field is out on its pace and parade lap, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back and bring you the start here at Mid-Ohio. Well, folks, we're going to be just in this break for just a little bit here. One of the things that we're going to be talking about during the course of the show you may not have heard about here, those of you joining us on the global web feed, is in the Acuras that are running here, the TLX GTs. Petey Cunningham has stepped out of his number 42 as he is really starting to focus his efforts completely on the development of the new NSX GT3 platform. So Spencer Pumpelly has stepped into that car, and they've, as a result, switched the number to number 34. So you'll see Spencer Pumpelly in that car, who came in and did a heck of a job in qualifying, actually put it a couple of spots in front of the full season guy, Ryan Eversley. And Spencer, great addition to the series. Oh,
it's great to see him back. We've seen him compete and win in the GTS class, of course, earlier this year. But, you know, he's a great addition to the championship. Real polished driver, true professional, and it's team ATL, Eversley and Pumpelly.
And they're good friends, which always makes the dynamic, you know, nice when you have somebody stepping in to a seat from somebody of the reputation of a Petey Cunningham. You got somebody you know and that you can work with. So that's going to be, I think, an interesting story to watch that one as it unfolds as well. In GTA, Mike Shine, folks, getting his third pole of the season. Frankie Montecalvo couldn't make it here. They had a problem with the car. They couldn't get here. And so everybody was thinking, okay, it'll be Mike Shine and, you know, going after points leader by a bunch, Martin Fuentes. And Mike McCann said, wait a minute, don't forget the Yeti Viper.
Well, what a rebound for them. Literally, having had the incident at Road America to rebuild that car, put it back out there, and right at the sharp end of the GTA field. But we spoke to Mike in the autograph session. He's really thinking about the overall pole position, so that's the kind of a standard that he sets for himself.
And it shows. I mean, that's why he was able to split Shine and Fuentes. And part of it is they found out they had some bad sensors, so they were getting some really bad data from the car. Oh boy, look at this. Huge development here. Adderley Fong looks like he was able
recycle things.
Yep. Now the question is, I don't think he can rejoin his position, but
he can get ahead of these GT Cup guys and rejoin the tail end of the GTA field.
Yeah, said he just mistimed things in qualifying a little bit.
He's got a much deeper hole now to climb his way out of.
Welcome back, everybody. The field coming down the front straight, but because it's a rolling start here with the big field, they actually start on the run from the keyhole down through the kink. Let's take a look quickly at our Kia Quad Box, featuring some great looks from our Replay XD cameras. And here's a sampling of those as the field is going to be forming up just a little bit here, Cal. You have this run out of turn one down into the keyhole, and then it's down that long back straight where they'll actually pick up the green.
And watch for those Nissans on row 2 and 3. Hyde, Cotter, and Davison. They've got great horsepower. They're going to be trying to make some moves here early.
And I think you're going to see Fogarty hoping that Highcotter gets bottled up a little bit and he can do something around the outside through turn 4. But here we go. Time to go racing. Round 14. Looking for the green flag to kick off 50 minutes of competition. And we are racing. Green flag flies, and let's see what happens.
Oh, Thompson to the inside. A very aggressive move by Colin Thompson in the orange McLaren there. Right down on the inside of J.D. Davison.
Here comes Fogarty.
Fogarty around the outside. He said he liked the outside lane for the start here.
Oh, and we got contact. Davison involved. Looks like Cooper. Oh, and again, Mike McCann on an opening lap. Caught up. And the number 77, by the way, is a change as well. That is now Preston Calvert, who has moved up to the GTA category. But Cal, I mean, I'm sure McCann right now cannot believe what's going on, nor Davison.
Well, Davison was looking for great things at the start, but certainly Colin Thompson got a great run. I'm not sure if there was a touch between those two, but either way, Davison wins around and caught out a couple of the other cars.
Davison got a little bit of a break, getting some points back from earlier in the year, but this is not what he wanted to see. Let's go back. And we're seeing Davison able to drive off. We'll have to check on damage. Everybody's getting away here, Cal, but there is a bit of damage to bits and pieces of body.
He's got
a flat.
Flat left rear. So I'm not sure if he got pushed out wide, and then there was someone to his left side as well. Everyone trying to make moves there, and I mean, it just comes down to the prey. He's got to be careful. He's going to lose. Well, he has lost control there.
I think he just found out how cut that tire was. Gets it gathered up. Be a bit more circumspect on his way around to the pit lane at this stage, but that air now. Nismo Nissan.
Trying not to go down a lap, of course, but you don't want to do further damage to the bodywork. Ian Willis and all of the guys at AIM Autosport will be ready for him, looking at the monitors.
All right, Cal, let's go back and see if we can piece together what happened again.
Big run down the back straightaway into our stop-tech brake zone. And we saw that Colin Thompson was making a very aggressive move there. There he is, almost in the grass. They're getting to the inside of J.D. Davison. Fogarty getting a good run to the outside. He follows Alvaro Parent, but as we get right down towards the apex, watch there to the inside. He's kind of pinched there between, I think it may be Spencer Pompelli. And that was where the contact was with Spencer, and that cut down that left rear and sent J.D. for a ride.
And then you saw McCann trying to take some evasive. There they are, 3 abreast. I mean, that's tough math to do.
Yeah, Colin kind of nudges into J.D. He then goes into the side of Spencer, who regains control. Eversley goes around him, his teammate.
And here's that last moment here by JD's just trying to hustle a car. I don't think he realized that maybe that tire was completely cut.
down. That's not going to work through a...
Yeah, and you saw McCann look like he maybe thought he had it woed down, and then Preston just got into the back of him, and that pitched him into the back of JD. So it's a tough break, but everybody was able to clear and drive off. Great work by that.
Well, they used the pit stops.
Yeah,
They've won a lot of championships in endurance style of racing, so pit stops is their forte.
It's like a headlight cover out there on the track, maybe off of the Viper. Got that bit of contact. So not sure if they can get this field gathered up. I'm sure one of the great corner workers, course marshals here at Mid-Ohio can run out and grab that. Lights are out on the pace car, Cal.
McLaren's run 1, 2, 3 right now, so a good initial start for Austin Cindric. That takes the pressure off a little bit. He can now control the pace here. Going to restart here on the front straightaway.
VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone. Ooh, Cindric slowed him down a little bit, but we're green.
Parent trying to get a run. His teammate, the factory driver, the championship leader.
And I thought Highcutter might try and get up and underneath.
O'Connell.
Oh, beautiful move around Thompson.
O'Connell and Thompson side by side. This Shine going for a ride, or is that Pat Long?
That's Long.
Wow.
Trying to make up some ground.
Carter looks to the outside of the keyhole. There's not going to be much grip there. He's going to lose ground to Fogarty. O'Connell trying to take advantage.
And Johnny O not feeling great this weekend. Thinks he had a bug of the flu. He said he's feeling better. We talked to him a bit earlier today. So we'll see what he's got. But now Highcutter using some serious power, Cal, trying to get down underneath Fogarty, but he's just able to out-deep him into 4.
He really is. This is a great start for Johnny O'Connell, but his teammate Michael Cooper, he's towards the tail end of the field. There you can see him trying to fight his way back. He did not have a good opening lap.
He got caught out and took evasive when that incident happened here at turn 4 and ended up going through the grass, but managed to avoid China Beach and lost a lot of track position. And look at Spencer Pompelli, huge attack mode right now.
Yeah, he's going to be fired up. There you can see that headlight cover. Someone's probably going to ding that, particularly when you're in a pack of cars. And that will cut down your tire in a heartbeat. You know Cindric now feeling the pressure from Parent.
Yeah, and I actually said that was Pompelli, but it was Eversley. When Spencer got forced a little bit wide there, Eversley was able to snick through, and he now sits in the 6th spot between O'Connell and Thompson.
K-Pex Flying Lizard team did a test here a couple of weeks ago, and that was really important, Greg, because we lost a practice session here yesterday because of the heavy rain. Oh, more contact there. Oh, Pompelli's in trouble.
He is.
His car is really crabbing down there. Oh, and he's going to lose it.
Oh, into the gravel, and
he broke something in the rear suspension or has a cut-down tire.
All right, so, well, if he can't get moving and it looks doubtful, this will probably be a full course caution scenario, so we're going to step away for just a minute, but we will be right back as we have a change for the lead. Parent underneath his young charge and picks up the point. Cindric now 2nd, and look at John Fogarty.
And there's a lot of debris there over in the S's. That could be a problem for some of these guys, cutting down tires potentially.
And now things settling just a little bit. So we are now going to take that quick break, but we'll be right back to Mid-Ohio. Don't go anywhere. Oh, wow, cool. Come on, Greg. 17 Udell plus 6. Okay. All right, folks, sorry about that. Having a bit of a chat with some of our producers. And you can see Pompelli over there. Pace car is now out. We are under a full course caution.
Yeah, there was a brush there coming through turn 1. Spencer's car may have been damaged in that initial assault down in Turn 1 with Thompson and J.D. Davison, but there was a further brush, I think, exiting Turn 1, and the car was immediately crabbing on the run up to the keyhole.
Right before the caution came out, Brent making that move down underneath Cindric. So it's a McLaren 1-2-3 right now. Heitkotter in the Nissan GT Academy. Nismo Nissan sits in the 4th spot. Ryan Eversley up now into 5th. So, boy, what a great start and opening couple laps for him.
Superb. Qualified just outside the top 10 in the 11th spot. Swept the weekend at Road America. Has had that balance of performance, 30 kilograms added to that Acura, but it's been a great start for Ryan Eversley, and he's jumped around O'Connell on that lap right before we went to caution.
Mike Shine was able to hang on to the lead in GTA in the number 16 Wright Motorsports Porsche, and with the problem for Mike McCann, Martin Fuentes, the points leader, now up to second in the 07 Hublot Ferrari from Scuderia Corsa, and Joe Toussaint having a nice run in the number 90 Porsche. Hasn't made all the rounds this year, but he said they've really found something with that car, and he's getting some great coaching, and he's running the fastest laps he's ever run here at Mid-Ohio, so he's excited about that. And in GT Cup, Alec Udell leading and got a great start, moved up a few spots, but Corey Fergus snuck around Uri now and sits in second.
Well, that's great. I mean, certainly he has great track knowledge. Here's his local track. He lives down in Columbus. And I know they've been working extremely hard to find the sweet spot with this GT Cup machine. Spoke to his dad earlier in the week, and he just said, this has been an extremely frustrating year for us, but we're going to keep digging, and it's nice to see him now on pace with Udell and Uri.
Yeah, and unfortunately we saw early the problem during the pace lap for the number 88 Bentley of Adderley Fong. It sits in the pits. Whatever it was is apparently chronic, Cal.
Something with the gearbox. Supposedly it was stuck between gears. We just got a report, and they were trying to recycle electronics. So that's a shame, because Adderley's been putting in some very strong performances, visiting a lot of these racetracks for the very first time, as Spencer has now jumped out of the car, trying to assess the damage. He knows that something was broken in the rear end, and just trying to determine what it is, maybe give his team a heads up. But his day is over, and the problem for Spencer is he's really not had time to really lay down a fast lap so far, and this is going to affect his grid position for the second race here this weekend.
They are anticipating, I think, that he will run in this car also at the next round of the championship in Utah. So he's going to get some, certainly some track time, but this is not how we wanted this one to start.
No, it's been a very bright weekend so far, being drafted in with no real seat time other than the test day here on Thursday, which was just sessions. It wasn't like he ran all day long. So to be immediately on pace with his teammate is certainly a statement that he's made here this weekend, but not the start to the race he was looking for. Got kind of nowhere to go there, made the right move around the outside. JD got the bump from Colin Thompson and forced him into Spencer.
You know, it's interesting, too. You take a look at, Pat Long, and this is one of the reasons he's a Porsche factory driver, and the reason he's won so many championships is sort of making, lemonade out of lemons. Qualified only 13th, but with everything that's unfolded, and he had that off, remember, as well.
Right.
He's still 8th.
Yeah, hopefully there's no damage, because that was right before we went to yellow as well, so we haven't had a chance to see if he's fully on pace right now. But certainly a good start, good momentum. He just said the car was too loose. I think because we lost that session yesterday, Greg, a lot of the teams really didn't have time to do what we call a sticker run, a qualifying simulation. And I think a lot of people missed in terms of their initial starting pressures for the qualifying here today. And I think that's why we saw a little bit of a shake-up on the grid.
Yeah, if you weren't following us during the weekend, that run was lost due to weather. Lightning first, and then we had issues with just intense rain. And unfortunately, it looks bad to worse, Cal. Looks like Adderley Fong is out. He has stepped out of the car, and it looks like he is going to be done. That's frustrating. He really thought, he said, I mistimed it a little bit qualifying. If I'd gone maybe 2 laps sooner, I may have been able to do something with it, he said, because it was just getting really quick when the checker came out.
Yeah, again, relating to those tire pressures everyone missed. We had some people whose cars came in very late, some who kind of overpressured and peaked too early, like Colin Thompson, who flew to the top of the charts early, then his tires overpressured. So it's a learning game, and as I say, you like to get that simulation run done the day before in the final practice session, and the teams that basically had that rained out.
As you take a look here as the car is continuing under the caution right now, just to give you an idea, the Prent, Cindric, Fogarty top 3, Heitkotter in the Nissan, the Acura of Eversley in 5th, O'Connell in the red Cadillac in 6th, Colin Thompson 7th, Patrick Long 8th, Kyle Marcelli in the CRP De Vilbius and Hawk Performance Audi up into the 9th spot, in Michael Cooper with that off, basically taking evasive to avoid that incident down in the S's, slips back into the 10th spot. We're going to pause for just a minute. We're going to be coming back with our CBS Sports Network coverage. And welcome back, everybody. We continue under caution here, and you can see light still on the pace car, and also there's that weather I was talking about. You never know here at Mid-Ohio, and that's a possibility that could come into play just yet, but we continue under the caution, and the reason for that, of course, was the off by the number 34 Acura of Spencer Pumpelly. And there he sits. You can see he's on the strap. They're going to be hauling him up onto the flatbed. But this is what happened and what pitched him off into the gravel, Cal. Let's take a look.
Well, here we see the field streaming through turn one. He dives down to the inside on Colin Thompson there. There's going to be a brush. Watch right there.
Yep.
Contact. Immediately that right rear you can see is broken. And now he's crabbing all the way up this straightaway. And I think when he finally lifts off the gas pedal about right there, and he gets on the brakes, it just turns on him.
And that's exactly why they have the gravel where they do around these places. Another look at it here. Boy, it just went.
Yeah, as soon as he hit the brake pedal, suddenly all the cross weight is off in the machine, and it's just going to turn on him.
So the gravel doing its job and saving the car from further damage and getting into the tire barriers. But, of course, then you have to extract the car out of the gravel. So that is the simple reason that these cleanups sometimes take a little bit of time when you're extracting them out of the gravel. And for Spencer Pumpelly, not the start he wanted, but he sure was impressive in qualifying. And he will be back for the next race. That'll be coming up, of course. But want to also now go back and take a look at GT Cup. And you see that blue Porsche just coming into screen there, the Euro World, Panther Pipeline, AmSource Capital, Global Motorsports Group machine of Alec Udell from his 8th pole position. And Alec able to hang on to the lead. And here was a look at that start, which, of course, got waved off pretty quickly. They ran into a yellow scenario. But Alec, with that inside line, made it work, Cal.
You can see the grass flying. I think that's from Colin Thompson making that move on J.D. Davison. And you see Yuri there trying to go around the outside. Didn't quite make it stick.
As a matter of fact, I think Yuri got trapped a little bit. Briefly, Corey Fergus got underneath him, was running in second. But Fergus ran into some issues, had to duck into the pits. He's back out, but now sits back in third. And for Alec Udell, a pretty good story there. And there he comes. And one of the reasons he's a big story is because he gets the Optima Batteries Best Start Award. He was up 6 spots on that opening lap. With that, everything that unfolded in front of him, obviously, it's always an overall advantage. So great job by Alec Udell. And I'll tell you, with that pole, you know, he just keeps building these little bits of points margins over a very quick Sloan Yuri.
Well, it's going to be tight the rest of the way in this championship, and those guys have been nip and tuck all season long. It seems like Alec Udell has finally got that momentum on his side. Sloan started off so strong at the beginning of the championship year, and it's great to see Corey Fergus now on pace with these two young guys because he's an amazing talent as well.
There's a look at your leader and pole sitter in GTA, Mike Shine, and he was able to hang on to that. You can see a little bit of dirt and debris up in the grills on those cars. You want to be a little bit careful, and he's tucked right behind Mike Cooper.
Absolutely. And Cooper's going to be super frustrated. He's won 4 times here on this race circuit, including last year in GTS competition. It's a great track for him. He was pretty pumped up after practice here on Thursday. He was one of the fastest guys out there, but in qualifying, the Cadillacs just didn't have the edge needed to be at the sharp end of the grid. But Johnny O'Connell, his teammate, has had a good start up into the top 6 right now. Was 5th, but Eversley's got around him.
And it looks like the Muck Daddy cleanup for Spencer Pompelli's car almost complete. We're going to dip away for just a moment. We will be right back, hopefully take you to the green. And it looks like they've got Spencer's car moved off to the side, so we should be able to get back to it here in fairly quick order. And development here that those of you joining us on the webcast might not quite be aware of is Sloan Urie actually running a different car. They brought last year's, the car that Phil Fogg ran last year in the championship, and Ryan Dial got in it, got both of the cars in testing to within a tenth. He said you can get there. But even though it's a spec car, every car's got its little idiosyncrasy and nuance. And Sloan Urie got into the other car and said, I don't know why, it just feels more comfortable for my driving style. So he's given that a run this weekend. Yeah,
I spoke to Tyler Tatovic, the team manager there, and he said, you know, just with the older car, he said the diffs are a little bit looser. It helps the car rotate a little bit. And Sloan just feels more comfortable, so we're going with that one for this weekend. Wow, look at Highcarter.
Yeah.
Laying rubber.
Get those tires clean, I'm guessing. We're going to pause. We're going to be coming back for CBS Sports. And welcome back. As the green flag flies, we are back to racing here at Mid-Ohio. And the Mid-Ohio Grand Prix presented by Honda, racing down into turn one. And looking for anybody trying to make some big major move. Nobody yet, although Cooper really anxious to attack on the back of Kyle Marcelli in that orange Audi.
Look at this. Highcarter to the outside of John Fogarty. Fogarty tries to tuck it down on the apex there. Highcarter made this move early in the race, couldn't make it stick, but now he's got to run. Oh, there's damage in the background. Thompson's around, Marcelli's around. Cooper's involved once again.
Everybody trying to thread the needle coming through there.
Big damage to the tail end of Colin Thompson's McLaren.
And a big rip in the side of the Audi as well of Kyle Marcelli. So Thompson trying to get going and drive away. Boy, I'll tell you, this is a, he qualified third at Long Beach. Pace has never been questioned. Dominated in the GT Cup last year, but just has had one of those years. And here's the Audi. It's moving, Cal, but he's hurt too.
Yeah, and this is maybe, I mean, kind of the icing on the cake here for this team. They really felt that the Audi would be strong here. You need great balance around this racetrack. The Audi has had that. They've had an additional balance of performance adjustment in their favor in terms of 10 kilograms lighter this weekend. So the team's really just been scratching their head as to why they haven't been more competitive and gambled on the setup, thinking it was going to rain here this afternoon.
And the irony is as the car brakes because of the contact, we're getting reports of some sprinkles around the area. So that would have been perfect. And for Colin Thompson, having a look at the car, you can see the shake of the head. It's just, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to him this year, it seems.
It's amazing. And again, for these guys, we haven't had any real good green flag runs here. They haven't set the fast laps for this race, which sets the grid for tomorrow. So it's a double whammy. You've got a poor position. Look at the damage to the right rear corner there.
That was a substantial hit. Now let's go back, Cal, and have another look at it and see if we can figure out exactly what unfolded here.
Look in the tail end here. Highcarter's making the move on Fogarty. That was what I was looking for. But just look behind. Thompson loses control. I'm not sure if Pat Long had got to the inside of him, maybe turned him. Saw Pat Long in the picture there, so I'm not sure if he was maybe up on the curb and got into the side of Colin Thompson. The shot didn't show that. I'm just looking at the positioning of the cars. And then the carnage ensued.
Now we might have another angle that might help clarify that. Watch it from here, Cal. That's a reaction, I guess. Yeah, Colin obviously felt he got some help.
Well, we suddenly saw him sideways, and Pat Long was up on the curb and almost to the inside. So, again, he was having to make something happen. Pat Long, that is today, second in the points. Poor qualifying slot, down in the 13th position. And made some good early moves, but we haven't seen it yet. We'll have to wait for some onboards and see exactly what plays out.
So, as we're under our third caution now, it's Parent leading his teammate Cindric, with Highcarter has now come up into the third spot with that pass on Fogarty. Eversley still sits 5th in the Acura. Johnny O'Connell in 6th. And Patrick Long, who's been in a busy one here, but finds himself 7th with Cooper now in the 8th spot. And then 9th and 10th, the top 2 in GTA. Shine in the Porsche and Martin Fuentes in the Hublot Ferrari. And the good news is, if I don't think he's gone down a lap, so Corey Fergus really had, that run into the pits and the like. I don't think he went down a lap, so he's still going to be in the running here possibly. Yeah,
that's good news for him. This has not been the smoothest start to a race.
No,
I think everyone's pretty antsy here trying to get going.
Well, and I think you talked about it as we take a look here, first of all, at Ryan Eversley. And one of the reasons is he's carrying our iBox suspension cam. And, this is, one of those roller coaster rides, but there's lots of changes of direction that happen abruptly. And we talked about it at the top of the show. If you hit it right in the setup, and that's the suspension, it pays huge dividends.
Oh, it really does. I mean, this is a fun racetrack, and it's even more fun when the car's working well and you got the iBox suspension system working well at the same time. So you want to be able to run the curbs around here, have the car that's pretty compliant. Got to put the power down well off of the carousel and off of the keyhole. Very important corners.
And, I wonder if what we're seeing play out a little bit here isn't related to that cancellation of that practice session, and also the fact that the heavy rain, they never got out with any IndyCar rubber down on the track, and it's a different manufacturer. It affects things. I think everybody is just trying to feel their way around, and some of them, it's gotten a little bit too physical. So while we continue under this third caution, we're going to stop once again. When we come back, hopefully we'll get some good long green flag racing for you. That would be the one. Now, while we're in break for our CBS Sports, sorry having a bit of a chat with the producers at this stage, but I think right now, ominous is that sky is something that's going to be very important. We had late in the day yesterday, it just came out of nowhere in a sense and just hit, and it's possible. It all depends on if it skirts or if it comes right through, obviously, but hopefully it'll hang in for.
We had a gully washer here yesterday. Boy. It was unbelievable.
Lightning, the whole thing, and I mean it rained so hard that the really usually pretty superb drainage system here just got overrun, and so we had some pretty bad standing water and the like. So that's why they had to end up canceling that session and the GTS race that unfolded as well. Here's a look here at the pass by Alvaro Parent on his teammate into the stop tech brake zone, and that was just perfection.
It really was. Just held the draft perfectly. Austin gave him a little bit of room there down into the stop tech brake zone, and as you would expect from a polished pro like Alvaro Parent, made the move stick.
Oh, all right, folks. We've got a development that we're going to mention it again when we go back to our CBS Sports show, but Pat Long, drive-through.
Yeah, that's big news. I mean, Fortunately for Pat, a lot of his competition is out of the race, so he won't drop too many positions, but it's still not the news he was looking for, and I assume he just got super aggressive, maybe got up on this curbing here that we're looking at into the keyhole, and that was what turned Colin Thompson around.
Yeah, it was some pretty close stuff. I mean, we'd seen the Cooper all over the back of the Audi as well of Marcelli. It was some pretty close quarter stuff, and just a touch at that point, it can lead to that kind of a huge moment here.
Well, you come over a bit of a crest there in the middle of the keyhole as well, so if you get touched right there, the rear end is already light.
And we're hearing now that the team has contacted race control and is, pitching their defense, if you will. But you understand they have adjudicated it, and he will have to do the drive-through. And you can't do that under caution. So we're going to have to get back to green, and then he'll have to come in and do it. But as you said, a lot of the people he's running with here are already out. All right, lights out on the pace car, so we're going to pause, and we'll be back with our CBS Sports coverage. Welcome back, everybody. Lights out on the pace car once again, and hopefully we'll be able to get this one and get going with some serious racing here. Perrent over his young teammate Cindric as the pace car makes its move in. We're into our VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone, and Perrent rolls into it aggressively, Cal. Green flags fly. We are back to racing. Brent Cindric and Heitkotter.
Superb restart there for the championship leader. Heitkotter there got jumped a little bit, but that Nissan's got a lot of power. He's going to chase these guys down. What a move he put on John Fogarty to take that position away. And he tried the move a lap earlier, a lap or two earlier, and it didn't quite stick, so he learned something and made it stick second go around. Cooper there on the rebound. Pat Long has now got to serve that penalty, we believe, so he's going to be hitting pit lane pretty soon, I would believe.
Yeah, Cooper took a look at him and then tucked right back in. Wasn't quite close enough. Here's your, well, we just had a shot at it for a minute. The GT Cup battle as Perrent continues to lead.
Look
Boy,
at Eversley.
Heitkotter makes speed, as does Eversley. Yeah.
Eversley's coming after John Fogarty. Has he got the outside lane? He looks to the outside. No, John takes it away. Good, clean racing between those two drivers.
Eversley, of course, was, as you talked about, Cal, here a little over a week ago. They were able to get a test in and said that they were pretty confident, even though they didn't qualify as well as they may have liked, that they had a good race car here. Sure looks like it.
Well, Ryan's a great racer, and he always seems to take advantage of every situation that he can. He's got his third Pirelli World Challenge victory at Road America with the sweep. But he's been really consistent this year, Greg. He's always at the sharp end, always fighting out for a top 5 finish, it seems like.
And that's why he's well placed in the points at this point. There is the number 16 of Shine leading in GTA.
Pat Long stays out, so it seems like the team is still trying to fight that decision.
He comes in here, 58 points out of second, and I mean, he's a major points player, and this is going to be painful as the number 88 of Mike Lewis ducks underneath the similar car, different livery, different team of Mike Shine.
Well, the great news is that Michael Lewis is going to campaign the rest of this championship, so that's huge for him and for the series.
Big news indeed, and actually right now Pat Long, working with Johnny O, has been able to gap Cooper just a little bit.
But I'd be more in, you know, Eversley has got the outside run, and he's going to get it this time. Fogarty's going to fight him for it, but I think Ryan's just going to hold on. Now they try and go side by side through 5. Fogarty's really wide, and he's going to have the inside line. That's a great part of the circuit, Greg, when you can fight like this. Eversley's now in the marbles. He didn't have grip coming off.
And that was one of those scenarios where you see the respect between two drivers. They gave each other room, good hard racing, but didn't have any contact, and they come through, and Fogarty hangs on to the position.
If I was Pat Long, if the penalty has to be served, get it over early. You know, then catch a yellow or whatever, get back in the game. But I'm surprised. I think they have 3 laps before they have to serve this penalty.
Correct, yeah.
Before they'll stop scoring him.
There is Fuentes, second in GTA, and here is your battle in Cup, and it is exactly that. Alec Udell has the point, but that...
Yuri to the inside! There's going to be a trade of paint right there. Alec Udell just slid a little bit as he came into the brake zone for the carousel. You come up and over the hill there, and he just lost the front end a little bit. Yuri tried to take advantage. Slight tap. And Fergus is right there as well. He's only about a second back.
Boy, would he love to see these two guys really get into a scrap, be able to take advantage and pop through. And Yuri's been looking really strong. He really likes just how this car feels in that Security National Mortgage Evasis entry from Tyler Tadovic's True Speed team.
Well, he's got his confidence back. He's got his confidence back in his race car. Fergus is right there. Yes, he'd like to take advantage of maybe some misfortune with the guys in front of him. But I think more importantly, Greg, Corey Fergus would like to be in this battle.
Oh, without doubt. By the way, Race Control just issued a warning, not a drive-through, just a warning to Alec Udell about moving in response. I'm not sure he moved in response. I'm not sure he realized that Yuri was all the way alongside like that, because it was a great move by Yuri.
It really was.
And, you know, the other thing for Yuri, too, is the fact that he's had a month now to let that wrist heal that he had broken. I think that's making a big difference, too.
Yeah, for sure. He's been working a little bit wounded here for the last 2 or 3 months. Up front, Perrent is stretching that lead over his young teammate, Austin Cindric. Highcutter has settled in nicely to that third spot.
With Fogarty fourth and Ryan Eversley sits in fifth. Alec Udell leading in GT Cup, but under attack, and Mike Shine leading in GTA. We'll be right back. So while we're in break for our CBS Sports Network, we're with you back here on the web, and boy, that sky is getting a little bit more pervasive, isn't it, Cal?
Very threatening indeed. And that will really put the cat amongst the pigeons if we suddenly get a deluge. We saw some of the teams in the paddock this morning practicing tire changes, because if they have to make the decision to switch to the wet weather tire, then their efficiency on pit lane could be really, really important. Some of the teams have good experience in terms of endurance championships where you do regular tire changes. Some do not.
Yep.
If it got too bad, I'm sure the series would bring everyone in under a red flag condition. But if it just gets a little bit damp, then it's up to the teams to make that call.
As you're watching Brent stretching that margin, you also saw that Udell was able to open up a whole car length on Uri. It's as big a margin as we've seen there. And Fuentes in the Ferrari, that's its second right now in GTA. Interesting story there. You know, they had that massive overheating issue that really hurt them at Road America. They solved that. They said, yeah, it was something deep in the engine. We've got it replay. Everything's great. Showed up here, first test, broke the gearbox on the car. And he said, so we lost another session. And he said, and then with the race, that everything getting scrubbed, he said, we're just really behind the eight ball.
Problem there for Fogarty. Into the ABS, I believe, and then up on the curb. Lost the front end there.
He was able to get it woed down, though. That's where experience, and boy, he's got it here at Mid-Ohio, comes into play.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Look at the speed of that accuracy.
Eversley's got a run. That was close. He flicks it back to the outside. Great little scrap going on here.
Oh, boy, big development here, Cal. In that 3-lap window, Long did not pit. He has been DQ'd. Disqualified.
Wow.
That's huge.
I just don't understand that.
All
I mean,
right.
for John Wright and that whole group, they're so polished, so professional. They would know the rules. And it's one thing to disagree with the decision, but you got to look at the big picture in the championship. Alvaro Parent, who leads the race. Pat Long, who is second in points, is going to get 0 points here today.
Yeah, that's just a huge development. We're going to actually come back and address that for our CBS Sports Show.
Finally,
welcome back, everybody. Pat Long down into the pits. But the question is, Cal, is it too late?
Well, he had a 3-lap window to serve that penalty. He didn't do it within that. We're hearing news that it may be a disqualification, or is he finally saying, okay, I'll serve the penalty now?
Yeah, maybe what we heard was that they said you need to come through and do it on this lap, or we're going to DQ you. But we were pretty sure we heard the call that it was done. But he is back out. We'll see how it plays out and see whether he continues to get scored on our monitors. But, Cal, either way, obviously it's going to hurt him a little bit here with this drive-through. But if he's actually disqualified, that's mega implications in the points.
It's huge, because Parent, who leads the championship, is running up front right now. And if Pat got 0 points, that would be a huge swing. Almost take him out of the picture for the rest of the season.
Here's a look at Parent, who I'm sure if the crew is informing him of what's going on, must be just can't believe what he's hearing at this stage. And, boy, he and Cindric have just eased away, haven't they?
Well, the good news is you're leading. The better news is the guy who's second in the points is right at the tail end of the field. The guy who's third in points sits in the 7th position. The guy who's fourth sits in 6th. So this is a huge swing. And the news just keeps getting better for Alvaro Parent here today.
All right, we're getting word now from race control. They have said since he did come in and do the penalty, he will be able to get whatever points he gets now from this point forward. That's a lot of points in there. Sorry about that. I guess I was making a point.
I like your point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I'm sure there'll be other teams who say, well, by the letter of the law, he did not do what you're supposed to do. So there may be some conversation in the paddock here tonight. There you can see the little grill piece on Ryan Eversley's machine just popped up. There's been a little bit of argy-bargy during these laps of racing here today.
Yeah, this has been a real battle. There's been no question about that. And Fogarty in the Red Dragon, the Gainesco Auto Insurance machine right there with Eversley right behind him. He just has not been able, once Highcutter got through, John was not quite able to stay with him. It's about a second and a half from Fogarty up to Heitkotter at this stage.
Yeah, looking at Fogarty's pace, his fast lap at 122.1, Alvaro Parent's fastest lap at 121.7. So again, they're happy to be at the sharp end of the grid, but they realize compared to the Capex Flying Lizard group, they've still got a little edge to find with the McLaren, but certainly great news this weekend to see them running in the 4th position, qualifying on the 2nd row of the grid.
Absolutely. I mean, it was since the opening race in COTA that they've been on the podium. They had that big hit at Long Beach, and they've just been chasing things a little bit, but they seem to have their hands wrapped around it as we go back now to GT Cup, and Alec Udell now has been able to eke out another couple of car lengths over Sloan Urie. And looking at those fast laps, Cal.
Yeah, 25.9, 125.9 for Udell, 126.2 for Urie, 126.5 for Corey Fergus, and that's why we're seeing the gaps on the racetrack right now.
And there's Ferguson. I mean, he's going to be delighted to be, as you said, within that second at this stage, because they've really been chasing things a little bit. They, too, had that big hit at St. Pete, and you never know just how deep into the chassis that might get. But, this was where Alec Udell, at a 15-year-old, driving a Mustang in GTS, got his first ever pole in the rain, and that's an accomplishment. And then last year got his first ever win in Pirelli World Challenge when he broke the streak that Colin Thompson had set.
Well, you have your favorite spots. I mean, there's some circuits you just have an eye for and you feel very comfortable with. And this is a difficult racetrack. There's a lot of elevation change. I find in learning circuits and getting comfortable with circuits, ones that have a lot of elevation change are the most difficult. And certainly Mid-Ohio has a lot of that. But once you find the rhythm around this place and find your sweet spot, find your marks, there's a real nuance to getting around here quickly. You got some really high-speed stuff like turn 11 and turn 1 obviously, and then you got some real technical stuff where you got to place the car in the right position, then you've got to get the power down, you need good patience through the carousel, through the keyhole, you can't overcharge those corners, so this racetrack takes it all.
Well, the thing is, unlike some other tracks where the elevation changes, the long climb, and this is some very abrupt stuff and at apexes. So as you're watching Mike Shine here, who continues to lead over Martin Fuentes here in the GTA category, pretty impressive run for Mike Shine, who's shown some amazing speed. But they've been able to, somehow he's been able to get that Porsche to work here around this track.
Well, they tested also, so that was a big advantage. We talked about Martin Fuentes, losing a session with the gearbox issue there, and everyone lost a practice session. So for the teams that tested, that was really a twofer in terms of we've already got the data. We've already know what the car will need around here. So some of these guys on the back foot like Martin this weekend.
And there is Martin, who at least is getting some second-place points, and he had a big, big margin coming in. And so this isn't as bad as it potentially could be. And there is Pat Long, who is back out at it. He is indeed continuing to get scored, shown at an 11th overall right now. But more importantly for him, 9th in the GT order. So with that, we're going to pause for just a moment. We'll be back with more from Mid-Ohio. Yeah, we're in break for our CBS Sports Network coverage. Looks like the 77, and he's been involved in a couple of things. That's Preston Calvert. Remember, at that very first incident, he got into the back of Mike McCann, and it looks like he's a bit off the pace, Cal.
Yeah, struggling a little bit this weekend. I'll tell you one thing that's looking really impressive now is that the lap times are suddenly starting to tumble. Pat Long just laid down the fastest lap, but then Parent took it away, then Austin Cindric took it away. And then Brian Heitkotter went a little bit quicker than those two guys. So suddenly everyone's dipping into the low 21 range. And again, the reason that's important is not for bragging rights. It sets the grid for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's crucial. And I'll tell you what, Parent just got hung up a little bit behind Calvert as they got into turn 4 and into the S's.
Look at Cindric.
That's why Cindric just came on and got a great run around after Calvert got out of the way and made up a ton of time on his teammate.
Yeah, last time across the stripe, he was 1.2 seconds behind, even though he set a slightly faster lap that time. But now you can see it's really only 2 or 3 tenths.
And then Heitkotter lurking back there, another couple of seconds back. There's a look at Austin Cindric. And interesting, I mean, this pole, first one in GT, but he had GTA last year. He's run here in so many different types of equipment. And I'm sure he's got some other laps around this facility over the years.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jim and Barbara Truman, obviously on this circuit for many years, did a brilliant job in really building this truly remarkable facility. And for their grandson, it's great to see him doing so well.
Seeing some of these different lines in the keyhole, and I watched Pat Long do it. I just saw Highcutter do it. There have been reports that there's a little bit of pavement coming up there, and there's a couple of guys that are really diamonding, and it looks like they're going around a patch.
Well, you just got to search for grip, and you got to adjust. And if they're suddenly finding that they're not getting the power down early enough by running through the normal line, just trying to figure it out. So you can't get locked in. It's a bit like a dirt oval. They're trying to find the grip and move their line around a little bit.
You're saying the cushion's moving.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Perent's cushion isn't moving much right now because Cindric is keeping the heat on.
Yeah, well, you talked about it right before he got that little bit of a help from Preston Calvert. Cindric had run a lap quicker than Perent, and now he's close enough to maybe be able to do something with it. And you can see behind him now Highcutter. And Highcutter's taken a little bit back, too.
Well, Highcutter's the fastest man on the racetrack today. 121.312, which if it stands would be pole position for tomorrow. But everyone's Fogarty just ran a 121.422, quicker than the other two McLarens left in the field. So that's big news for the Red Dragon.
That's huge.
And there's a strategy to that, Greg. You know, sometimes you're in a pack of cars, you can't lay down a quick time. You really need your team to work with you, tell you what everyone's doing, saying, listen, even cool the tires off for a little bit. Lose maybe half a second to then really lay one down, so that will set your grid position for tomorrow.
Well, the thing, yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point with Fogarty. I mean, he's, 2.5 seconds adrift of Highcutter. That's enough clear air to be, for him to be able to do just that. By the way, Mike Shine, he just had a 122.8. Prior to that, I think he heard that Fuentes had gone a 22.9, was quicker than Shine. Shine responds, takes it by a tenth, and again, everybody thinking ahead to the next round of the championship. And look how close the positions are right now in terms of fast laps in GT Cup.
Yuri just pipped Udell by 100th of a second. Doesn't get much tighter than that.
Incredibly close. As Udell now makes that long run. Down through this turn here. 3, the kink, if you will.
Down in Rostoptech brake zone. Alec Udell just really coming on strong as a driver. Great young man. Very polished, very professional. And he's starting to get that little aggressive streak. Not overly aggressive, but we saw it there when Sloan was starting to put the pressure on. Alec fought him for everything he had to maintain the lead.
And Alec openly gives some credit to that he went through that Porsche Young Driver Academy at Barber, and he said with the instructors that they have there, it showed you some little things. He said that, as experienced as I've been able to get help from coaches and the like, it was just the little nuances of Porsches that have really helped him out here. And you've got an interesting dynamic as we watch Mike Shine leading in GTA. You've got the Global Motorsports Group team, Neville, who works with Patrick, but you got a great crew with Tyler Tadovic and that True Speed team that are working with Sloan, two extremely talented young guys, and it's just fun to watch what they're doing this year and where they're going to go in the future. We're going to pause and come back for CBS Sports. Alvaro Perent continues to lead here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the Mid-Ohio Grand Prix, presented by Honda Racing. And there is his young teammate, pole sitter Austin Cindric, and that blue and black McLaren, also from Capex Racing, sitting in second. And while we were in break, Perent got caught behind Preston Calvert just for an instant, and Cindric was all over the back of him, but Perent has been able to just turn up that wick again, Cal.
He has, and by doing that, he just laid down the fastest lap of the race. So I'm sure the Capex Flying Lizard group are on the radio, keeping their drivers abreast. You're doing great. You're running 1-2, but more importantly, these guys have set faster lap times than you today. If you can, try and dig deep. Try and find a faster lap. That's going to set your grid for tomorrow.
Cindric thought he had a shot, then it is tailed off just a little bit. Highcutter had been awfully quick. But boy, those two times by Perent and Cindric, the only guys underneath 121 right now, Cal.
Yeah, Fogarty's also quick there.
Yep.
He's done a 121.1, which is quicker than Hidecutter right now. Everyone, a lot of 21.2s, 21.3s on the board right now, so it's going to be critical here. And it seems like these Pirelli P0s are really good on the long runs here. We saw it in qualifying, Greg. Drivers surprised by how late in the going they could set a fast lap time. And look at this, Cindric is closing in on the leader. His car is hooked up. He's doing a beautiful job, and he's just gaining confidence as this race progresses.
Yeah, we're into our final 5 at this stage. Going back to GTA and Mike Shine, and he is doing just that. He just a lap ago, Cal, went a 122.6 to give him a couple of tenths margin now to Martin Fuentes. And, Mike realizes, the best way for me to do something with Fuentes in that big lead, 250-plus points that Fuentes has, is just to win.
And I'll tell you what, there's a real strategy here. It'd be a tough call to make, but Shine has the lead in GTA. Pat Long is right behind him. Now, Pat Long's points are done overall in terms of where he runs in the order. So if they would let Pat Long by, it would help Pat Long out and not hurt Mike Shine. He'd still get the top GTA points.
That's an interesting little strategy call there that the team.
But a tough one, because Fuentes
yeah.
isn't that far back from Pat Long, so it's a tough one to make. There's about a 4-second buffer right now between Pat Long and Martin Fuentes, so there is a window if they want to do it right before the checkered flag to promote Pat Long up one position, but still give Michael Shine, his teammate, the GTA class win.
Well, I'm guessing Michael Shine would be happy to do that, but his thing is going to be, that's great, but Pat's got to catch me.
Yeah, well, that's going to be tough to do because Shine's got good pace here today.
Boy, he does. And in GT Cup, speaking of great pace, 2 very talented young drivers, Alec Udell leading it in the blue, again, that's the Euro World Global Motorsports Group machine, at a 124.76 was his best lap. Sloan Uri still a tick quicker at a 124.71 in the number 20. Again, Security National Mortgage and Avasis entry, and they're coming up on the back of Joseph Toussaint, who is in the GTA category.
Well, if you can time it, you can actually pick up a little bit of a draft from the guy in front of you. So if you lay down an equal lap around the rest of the racetrack and you just gain, half a tenth, which has really been the gap all day long between these two guys in terms of fast lap, maybe Sloan can use that to his advantage in terms of gaining that fast lap and claiming pole position for tomorrow.
Yeah, they are just on virtually identical terms right now, and that's great stuff. And as you said, I think Udell would, if he could catch him at the right spot, that'd be a big one for Udell. But now back to our overall lead and our points leader, Alvaro Parent. And every time Cindric closes in just a little bit, Alvaro's able to find a car length or two, Cal.
He seems to be able to respond, but he's certainly not driving away. This has been a fantastic performance by our championship leader, but also by Austin Cindric. I mean, the team did a test here. That is huge here, particularly with the limited track time. It's given them a bit of an edge. And let's not forget, it's not only pole position, it's extra championship points if he can do it here and maintain fast lap.
All right, well, they got around quick enough that the white flag didn't fly, so they've got this lap and one more. And that's the message to Cindric. What do you got?
Well, what will Cindric do? If Brent was to catch a little bit of traffic here, unfortunately, the field has been depleted a little bit with all of the carnage that we saw early on. Coming up on Corey Fergus here. Will they catch him through the S's? See the lights flashing from Alvaro Parent. He wants Corey Fergus to be out of the way so he doesn't get balked any. Certainly he lost a lot of ground when he tried to get around Preston Calvert earlier in this race. He doesn't want a similar scenario here.
Well, there's an interesting dynamic, too, isn't it? Obviously, Cindric would love to get a win at what he considers very much the most special track. But he's not that well placed in the points, and they are teammates.
They are teammates, and Austin's a very bright young man. He's pretty smart, and he's not going to take out his teammate as Parent uses all of the curb there. And that was good. He split him. It's going to actually be advantage Parent in the exchange.
Yep, and Fergus knew, Corey's a pretty savvy driver. He knew the situation, opened the wheel up, and really didn't even hold Cindric up that badly, did he?
No, he didn't.
That's a nice job.
He's still there. Don't see any other traffic. They're going to catch one, which should be the final lap.
There it is. White flag flies. 1 to go here at the Mid-Ohio Grand Prix, presented by Honda Racing. And it's a McLaren 1-2. And this bit of pace that they've just uncorked here late in the going. Hidecutter got down sub 120 as well at a 120.949. Look at the difference between Cindric and Hidecutter. 2 1,000ths right now.
Going to be the same front row tomorrow unless someone can lay down a fast lap on the final lap of the race, but they'll be in the opposite positions with Parent on the pole. But if you've got anything right now, you're going to be digging deep.
Yep, and I think that Highcutter may have just come up behind Fergus at the right time, where he's able to get that engine spooled up and get a run and get cleanly by Fergus. So we'll see. He's too far back unless he gets some sort of help from these two guys making a mistake. But in terms of that fast lap scenario, he has shown speed.
Cindric looks superb, really carrying great speed through turn 6. Car looks settled, and this will give him a lot of confidence. He said this season has just been one that hasn't come together. We've had pace at times, but hasn't quite clicked. Maybe he can go on a run here in the final 6 races of the championship.
It'd be great to see. What a great young man, great talent. But it is the factory McLaren driver, Alvaro Parent, putting another win into the column with a tremendous run. And looking at the times,
that was his fastest lap. Let's see what Highcutter can do. I think he's slightly slower, so exclamation point on the victory for Alvaro Parent. Sets the fastest lap of the race on the final tour.
And that is his 5th win on the year as well. In GTA, Mike Shine has been just superb, and he is looking at adding another win into the win column, and he's had a few this year. This will be win number 5 for Michael as well, and he's loving the moment, saluting the crew at the wall.
Great job. Superb performance by Michael Shine.
And he had a quick lap in his category, so he'll...
Look at this, Michael Cooper on the last lap.
Oh, wow.
120.8 for the Cadillac. That will vault him to the front row, I believe. To wait for confirmation, but he could start on the outside of the front row for tomorrow's race. That would be huge.
There's a look up close and personal at one Mike Shine, the New Yorker, having a great day here in Mid-Ohio. And here is the final run through the carousel. The number 17, Alec Udell, able to get enough of a margin here. Is it going to happen? It is. Win number 8 on the season for Alec Udell. But for Sloan Uri, his 11th podium as well, his 11th top 2. Boy, these two guys so closely matched. And Cal, having a look at it here, Uri, though, will be on the pole for tomorrow's race. So Parent with the win in GT, GTA Mike Shine, GT Cup Alec Udell. We'll hear from him when we come back. All right, folks, there's a look at Sloan Uri as we are going to conclude our coverage here on our global webcast. And, of course, we really, as always, appreciate you tuning in and being a part of it here. Want to remind everybody that coverage on CBS Sports of the GT race will happen August 7th at 4 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. And also the GTS show will be August 11th at 10 p.m. But we've got a full day of racing tomorrow for the GT machine, so we just wanted to remind you about that. At 11 o'clock, our pre-race festivities will begin at about 11:15, anticipating the start of round 15 of the championship. So make sure and join us tomorrow morning when we come back and bring you the coverage from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Grand Prix presented by Honda Racing. We'll see you then.